terms of Roberto, so Roberto is a project leader, coach, and a technology enthusiast with over 15 years of experience in banking transformation. He played a key role as integration director in Spain's largest financial M&A deal, leading complex projects and teams. He's a coach and an advocate for better ways of working. He specializes in performance management, data analytics, digital transformation, and change management, helping individuals and organizations maximize their impact. So today he's going to speak around the topic of virtual communication and in this virtual world. And he's just joined us. He's just got back from Disneyland Paris, so he's feeling very fresh and excited and ready to go. So Roberto, I'm going to hand over to you and let you get started.
Thank you so much, James. Thank you, Sam. I'm super excited to be here, and thank you all also for investing 1 hour of your time, almost 1 hour, to be here with me. And my first thing that I would like to ask you, and I already see a few camera, I would invite you, if you can and if you want, to put on your camera, and so we have a better experience, and then we will also talk a little bit about cameras and all these things. Of course, no pressure, but if you can, it's a good thing. Okay, and now I'm going to do one more thing, which is put here. I will put myself into spotlight. Now you will see me a little bit bigger. And now, okay, great. Okay, so first thing, what is this about on my side? And you shared, James, something about the impact, and thank you for that, because I would like to share with you the reason why I'm doing this, because I'm doing this, and this is the definition of my purpose, which I worked with my coach, and this is what I want to do. I want you to have a better impact and to have a better voice and to be more impactful in your online communication. And this is me, of course, as you see, it's a little bit older than the photo original that you saw in the beginning. And I'm Italian, as you can see from the pizza. And there is a nice metaphor of the career, which is like a portfolio in which you have many slices of pizza. One of these slices is that I'm a coach. Then I'm a visual creator. As you can see, these are also illustrations that I do. I'm a project manager. I'm a very, very enthusiast of technology. I create a newsletter. I'm a father of Luke and Valentina. This is why we went to Disney, even if it was good for adults also. And I'm a very, very outdoor lover. And finally, I'm an expert in communication, specifically in virtual communication. What I want also to underline is that you can ask questions at any moment by using the chat, or you can raise your hand or just put on mic and ask, because in the end also, the more you put, the more you will get from the session. And what are we going to do today? We are going to see 4 things. We're going to see preparation. We're going to talk about the technical setup, body language, and then voice. And again, most important, I think, in all these things, as I mentioned, is that the more you put, the more you will get. So I really hope that you get something out from this, because in the end, the impact that we can have on our idea is that we can talk. I could go on for 1 hour and a half. This is a very, very compressed version of a 1 hour and a half workshop. But the important thing is that you put something into practice, and then you will see the differences. And one more thing is that, going back to our toolbox, one more thing that I will invite you is to pick, of all the things that we are going to talk about today, pick 3 and put them into practice. And I will ask in the end of the session, what are you going to put into practice? And you can share with the rest, so we can see what are the things also that we're going to use more. So, first of all, I would like to ask you one question. And the question is, in one word, what comes to your mind when we talk about virtual communication? And you can share in the chat. First thing. Google Meet, Zoom, yeah. Not physical interaction. Thank you. Convenient, connect people from anywhere, Teams. Okay, yeah, but there is a lot, the tools are very important. Tone, thank you, Demiray. Yeah, that's also very important. Connect all over possible. Yeah, engagement. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. And my next question for you is, what would you like to take out from today's session? Again, use the chat. How to improve. Thank you, Alison. Ideas. How to engage people better, how to better interact. Yeah, of course, I will share the, thank you, James, for the slides. It's ops, it's called ops. I will share it in the, I will do a slide on, especially from this on the presentation. Communicate better, better engagement. Yeah. And you see how there is a mix of connection, and then there's the technical part. And this is a very common part. The technical is very, the technical part is very important, but in the end, what we want is to engage better, to communicate better, to make our ideas come across. Thank you. And my question now for you, and I will take out this, I have one more question for you, which is on a scale from 0 to 10, when 0 is not at all, and 10 is absolutely, how present and engaged do you feel at this moment? 0 to 10. 6, 5, 6, 8, 7, 8, 7, 8. Okay. Thank you. And there's one thing which is very important. There is absolutely no judgment here. If you say I'm 0 because something is happening and in the back and I'm not present, that's okay. And the purpose of this question, and thank you for all these answers, is just to notice and to be aware of this. Because when we are aware, we can say, okay, I'm not very present. And you notice that. And then you can do something to increase your presence and your moment. So one thing that I want to invite is to do a very, very quick exercise, which is called a square breathing, which is a mindful technique, very, very fast to change our state and change our presence. And the exercise consists in, it's called square breathing because it's breathing like a square. So it's inspiring in 4 times, like 1, 2, 3, 4, holding your breath for 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, exhale in 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hold again at the bottom 4 times. Good? Okay, so we're going to do it twice all together, and I will do it with you, of course. So let's go. 1, exhale, hold, inhale, hold, That's it. Can you see the difference? And it was like 30 seconds. In 30 seconds, we can do some tweaks and change our state of mind. So imagine that you feel disconnected for a moment and you are not speaking. You can do this at any time during a meeting and focus again. Okay. And this is, again, related to one very important thing, which I will quote from Rachel, which will be joining us in 1 week, and then has another, who is an amazing communicator. And she says that presence is when your full expression aligns with your intention and you are able to authentically connect. And what does this mean? Is this, what's my intention for this meeting? What do I want to share? And how am I expressing that? And again, there is a point of awareness of how I express myself, how I'm feeling, and what I want to share. And this is the magic mix. And it doesn't mean to be smiling all the time, but just be ourselves. And we have a range of emotion, a range of expressions. Just express them appropriately, of course. And one more thing that I always think about is that when we know what do we believe, what are our values, and what do we want to share, our effectiveness is much better. And there is also one more thing, which is no one knows how to do it first time perfect. We can experiment. We must experiment, must do little things. This is why I invite you to pick things and to put it into practice, because most of the time nothing happens. You can try, you can see how it works. You can do this exercise or any other and see how it works. And again, there is one more question that is very important for me and it helps me a lot, which is asking ourselves, how do we want the people in this meeting to remember us? And some of you shared here in the chat to better interact, engage. It came out many times. When we visualize, when we think about how do we want to be remembered after a session, it helps a lot. And before going to preparation, any questions? Okay, so preparation. Why is this is so important? So this is one of the idea. Anyone remembers what this is? Raise your hands or put it in the chat. Yes, exactly. It's HAL. It's an evil AI from a sci-fi dystopian movie, which also tells us what's our age, if you remember that. And this allows me to introduce one very important thing, which we don't always talk about, which is this one. And I would like to ask you, who ever felt fear of public speaking? To raise your hand if you did, or put something in the chat. Okay. Yeah, exactly. That's the point. Everyone is afraid. We think that we are the only one, but everyone is afraid at a certain point. Absolutely. And there is one thing, but which is a little switch that you can turn on and off, which I always use, which is this. When I see, okay, I'm feeling fear, you can instantly reframe this into, I feel excited. I care about this. This is why I feel this. Because in our body, the feeling, the sensation, the physical sensation of anxiety and fear is exactly the same of the excitement. So you cannot differentiate one from the other. But you can feel the sensation and you can say, I'm feeling excited. And this goes to one direction. If you say, oh, I'm feeling afraid, we go into the other direction. And if you remember how I started the conversation, I said, I'm very excited to be here. And I use it all the time to go into the state of mind that I want to be. And there is one more thing again, which helps a lot, which is not taking ourselves too seriously. And of course, there is nothing perfect. We want to do it perfect because we care about the people. And one more thing that can help you is that all of you that you are here, you are investing 1 hour of your time. Is never going to come back. And this is the most precious resource that we have. So you want to make the most of the time. And by that, you are rooting for me. You want me to give a beautiful presentation. You want me to succeed, to have an impact on you because you are investing your time. So this is also one thing that you can use to your advantage when you are doing a presentation. Say, these people, I care about these people, first of all. And second, they want me to have a great time because then we win all. And then there is another myth, which is the opposite of funny is not serious. The opposite of funny is boring. And the myth is that we can be at the same time playful and serious. We can do things with good preparation, we can give value, but at the same time we can smile, we can have fun, of course, appropriately for the context. And of course, more important is the preparation. And this is a great quote from James Clear. Maybe you know him. And preparation is super important. It also helps you because remember when I said I had 1 hour and a half of material, I know that we can go on and on and on. I don't want to do that, but it helps me to make the most of the time. And there is one more thing that also can help you and to beat the perfectionist monster, which is thinking that the people in the meeting don't know what they don't know. So if you skip a part of your presentation, if you forget something, they don't know that you forgot. So you can focus again. Maybe you can take this square breathing to get back in the space, think about how do you want to be remembered and go on. And again, if you do a mistake, you can laugh a little bit and then go back to your presentation. Okay, any questions? Okay, next point, the elements of preparation. And for me, preparation is super important. And there are 4 things. One is the energy. We talk about the energy. How do I want to enter the room? What impact do I want to have? Then we have the posture, which is our physical posture, how anchored we are, if your feet are standing on the ground, all these things. Then there is our voice, and we talk about voice if we have time. And then there is breathing, and we did a little exercise on breathing. And my suggestion to you is find a way that works for you. There is no secret formula, there is no standard recipe, but just find a way. And we can just even take 5 minutes to do preparation. For example, my preparation is, if I can, I connect with the people one-on-one before a meeting. So I try to establish the tone of the meeting before that. Then the title of the meeting is super important because it gives cue about how do you want this session to be. If you just say, for example, check-up meeting, okay, that's one. But you can say, we share our problems and we collaborate. That's another one. Or disaster meeting or war room. These kind of things give cues about what the tone of the meeting will be, even before starting the meeting. Then a thing that I do a lot if I can, and of course, when I'm working from home, it's very easy, but you can do it also in the office. You can have a walk. Walking and moving your body lowers very much your levels of anxiety and calms a lot. Then if you can get some sunlight, for example, I take a very fast walk, 5 minutes. I listen to music. I try to be in the open air. I do a breathing. I think about what energy I want to bring. I think about my pose. And also very important, I put my mobile phone out of the room. And there are scientific studies that tells us that if our mobile is out of the room, our cognitive function are better because we are not thinking about, oh, this thing is buzzing or we are having notification. If you have an important meeting like this, of course, You put your mobile out, and then it's very, very effective. Then there is one more thing, which is also amazing. And maybe you heard about Michael Phelps, that when we won the medal, he said, I was in this pool 1,000 times. And Eugenia, you say, yes, I imagine that you heard about this, is the visualization. You visualize like a movie. What do you want this session outcome to be? What do you want the meeting to go? And you're playing a movie. You're playing a movie in your head. Even you can do it for 1 minute and visualize, and it helps a lot. It's like when you're driving, they say if you're going into the wrong direction, if you imagine that you're skidding, you watch, there's a tree, and you say, oh, I'm going to hit the tree, I'm going to hit the tree, and you look at the tree, maybe you will hit the tree, probably. But if you focus your eyes on the road, which is where you want to go, maybe it's easier. And unconsciously, you will go there. So this is how I do it. What I invite you is to find your own. And even 5 minutes, okay, even 30 seconds, but be intentional. That's my number one tip. Whatever the time, be intentional with that. And then there is one more thing, which is backside of the preparation, which is this model. Maybe you know it. There are two dimensions: what I know and what other people know. What I know, you already know. You can just decide if you want to share it or not. But the most important thing is what you don't know and other people know. And this is the blind spot that you can uncover very easily sometimes with recording. So you can record yourself just with mobile or during meeting, or you see your recording after the fact and you see, oh, this is how I look like. And you will be surprised sometimes of things that you see. And again, I invite you to play and to see what works and what doesn't. It's just experiment and try. Any questions before we go on? Okay, so technical setup. On technical setup, I will first share one thing, which is don't overdo. It's very easy to say, okay, I want to do 3 screens, 2 microphones, the camera, the lights, and then it will add so much stress to your preparation that it's not good. So find your pace, try adding little things if you want, experiment, and then upgrade. And you can always go back. And actually, instead of adding things, I would suggest one thing, which is take off your self-view, because there's nothing so addictive as looking at ourselves in a window and having feedback in real time of what are we saying and how our face looks like. We are not looking at the people, we are looking at ourselves. And I also did it, so it's normal, because actually it comes by default and you have to take it off. And I have one question for you. How many of you in the chat or raising your hand had the self-view on until this moment? Okay. I would like to invite you, and thank you, Naina, also for raising your hand. I would like to invite you to take it off. And on Zoom, you take it off by clicking on the 3 dots and on your tile and put in hide self-view. And see how it feels. Okay, and now maybe you will say, yes, but if I don't have it on, I don't see myself, and I don't know if I'm centered or if I'm on this side, so how can I do it? And my bet is you can do this. See this? This is like a screen. It's like a background. I have my face in the center. It's 3 by 3. And I know that my hands are on the side. So I'm perfectly centered where I want to go with a little space here. And then when I know that I'm centered, I just take it off and go on. So I will share also in the presentation a template for this. You can put it as a background. You can do a quick little check when you start, and then you can take off your self view and put whatever it is. Very, very easy. One more thing, now that we talk about background, and you see that I don't have any background, and maybe you're wondering, why don't you have background? My suggestion is, as much as you can, and it goes back to the intentionality, don't use virtual background, because virtual background is somehow like a distraction that people don't know what's in the back. So subconsciously they're thinking, oh, what's in the back? What's in the back? And especially if something flashes, they say, oh, what was that? It was a cat or was a person. And I know that sometimes we have to have a background because if we are in a crowded space, it's even more distracting. Still, if we can choose not to have. And again, it's not having the perfect background in the perfect room. I know it's not doable. It's just being intentional. And what do I want to express with my background? For example, I have this discussion. I left it on purpose because this part of the energy and the image that I want to share, and part of the context that I want to give you. And this is, again, connected to one other thing. What about the light? And instead of telling you, I will show you what the difference. So now I'm going to do something here. Okay. How are now? Much worse. Right? Okay, I'll put it back. So okay, and now it's back. Now we'll be asking, what's in the back? Okay, I will share with you, and this is what I have. And again, don't go for a perfection. Even a small light ring works. My suggestion is a top light, if you can, not very hot, not very strong, and then the two side lights helps you not to have so many shades on your face, so it doesn't look like a horror movie. Sometimes you have this light from one side and wow, what's that? And also on the back, you can use an ambient light. We give a little bit of depth, and then the accent light, which is straight. This is something playful that I did, but it's not necessary. This is just for fun. And again, my suggestion is don't overdo with the basics of, for example, not having a light on your back very strong, or not being to the back of a window. If you can do it, it's good. For example, Eugenia, I see that you have an amazing light. You also have it, Sarah, and Naina, you also have a good lighting. And for example, now you see one of my lights went off, and I will put it again. This is part of what I said about the technical setup. If you overdo, you add a little bit of difficulty every time. And one of the lights, I don't know why, but the Wi-Fi is not working, and it went off, and now we'll get on again at some point. And again, there is no perfection. So keep experimenting and do these little things. One more thing, now that we're talking about light and this point, the camera. I see that most of you have the camera at a good point. The ideal is to have the camera at the eye level, so you're not looking down, you're not looking up, and you're on an even playing field. It's an equal relationship with the people who's connected. And this is sometimes it's not so easy, especially if you have a laptop. You can put it a little higher, so that always your camera is in the eye level. So it also forces you to stand a little bit straight and have a better posture. Okay, one more thing I want to ask to you. Now that we're talking about this technical, you shared a lot in the beginning about the technical, Zoom, etc. This is why I'm focusing a little bit more. I'm conscious of the time. And I want to ask you this. How many of you multitask during meetings? Or have done? Not all, not in this meeting, of course, but okay. And the next question is, try not to. Yeah, usually. Thank you for your honesty. My next question is, how many of you notice people multitasking? Exactly. We all notice. We think that no one will notice. Oh, yeah, I can get over with this. I will send an email and we put the screen there. But then people will notice, especially if you are wearing glasses, especially if the screen have a different light. If you're popping out something in white and suddenly, pop, what's happened? So be very mindful of that and of the intention again. And I'm conscious, very conscious of the time. Any questions to this point?
How do you not spotlight, what's the word? Unhide yourself.
How do you put
So
yourself
what's the
yourself
so
view
when
back?
yeah, self view back just for because I've never done that before. Is it
You want to put yourself view again. You hide it and
yeah, back,
you
yeah.
cannot. It's gone forever.
Finish, yeah. Probably
No,
a
no,
good thing, to be honest.
no. You can. So you do again on the uh, right click on the zoom
Three
tiles,
dots, yeah.
and you put show self view. Which, by the way, now I'm taking the time to restart my light up. So you see that now it's working. And then
Okay,
when you want to take it back, you put again on the three dot, hide self view, and it's
okay,
out.
got it.
Thank you, James.
Thank you.
I'm sure that maybe someone else had this question. How do I get it back?
I think if you, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Two more things. Of course, we are not going to go so deep into the other, but I wanted to share with you just one thing about the body language, which is this, which is a very, very important statistic. And this is based on research. And once and again, it's proven that the first impression are based on these two characteristics, which is how warm are you, which means body language, basically, and then how competent do you feel. And you give this with your tone of voice, with the posture, and your words. And the interesting thing is that in the first 7 seconds that you appear on a Zoom call or a Teams call or whatever, you already made this impression. And this impression is usually pretty accurate. So again, my invitation is to be very, very intentional, very mindful. How do you come up in the first moment of a meeting? And if I may share one more thing, which is super, super quick, is use a little bit more your hands, not too much, not too little. We usually don't use our hands so much, especially if we have the camera tilted down. If people cannot see our hands, even if we move them, like I'm doing now, they will not see. So again, when we share the framing, if you have some little space here and your hands are more visible like now, it's much more easier. And if you had to choose one gesture, I would say to give more trustworthiness uh, in the people who are listening to you, is to show your hands. There is some research that tells us that from our ancestors when we were fighting in the savannah, the animals, when someone met another person from a primitive era and they had their fist closed or they were not showing the hands, they were thinking, oh, maybe this person has a spear or has a rock, is going to hit me. And if you show your hands, of course, you're not going to do this all the time. But if you give a little nod or say hi or whatever, it's another subconscious message that you are giving to the people about, oh, this person can be trusted. They're not hiding anything. And again, the multitasking, when you have your hands visible from time to time, you're of course not sending emails. So they don't think about what is they doing. I see a message. I always see a good one. Yes. And that's the other side. should not overdo, and I'm talking about from experience because I'm Italian. I know that sometimes I overdo with the hand gesture. But again, you can experiment. You can say, okay, I will do a little bit more, and then I will see how it feels, and then maybe a little bit more. And then I will see myself on video and record, whatever. Okay, it's 38, and now I'm going to stop here and see if we have some live questions. Feel free to ask.
I wanted to ask you just in terms of the slides, then you said you had a slide in terms of how do you embed yourself in a presentation in terms of the way you're presenting there?
Yeah, it's a tool called Ops Studio. And what you do is you have a virtual camera, which it's like a bypass of your camera. So imagine a funnel where you put your stuff, you put your screen, you put the camera number one, you put camera number two, if you have camera number two, and then you mix all of this and give one signal to Zoom, which is my virtual camera. So I can choose, for example, to say, okay, now I want this. And now I'm standing, and now I'm here. And then I go back. And it's the same. I'm not sharing my screen. I'm just changing the mix of what comes through the signal. It's very easy.
Does that work on Teams as well, or is that just
Yes,
Zoom? Or
it works
okay.
everywhere. It creates like a virtual camera, which then you can do. For example, this one that I did is another effect on the Ops Studio. It has a little bit of learning curve, but once you get the basics, you can do it very, very easy.
Okay.
Ops
Great.
Studio. Yeah, I will send
So Ops Studio OPS. So OPS
Ops
Studio, is it?
Studio. Yeah.
Okay. Or OBS or OPS?
OBS, I shared in the chat. I will
OBS. Oh, sorry, I see it
the
there.
link. No,
Okay,
of
great.
course. And thank you, James, for asking.
Yeah.
It's super fun, and many of you talk about engaging. This is a very easy thing to engage, and also allows you to control exactly where are you going to be on the screen. Because when you share the screen and then you have very little tile, you're one of 10 tiles. And in my case, for example, I know that I am on this side. I have my illustration here. I can do very different things than just, oh, okay, I'm going to share the screen and I know where I am in the slides. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. Very good. Any questions for Roberto? The other thing I wrote down actually was very much around the pre kind of call in terms of that intention of actually just, and also probably getting a little bit lazy in terms of the virtual communication that like in the early days of COVID is probably better in terms of the setup and everything, and now yeah, just getting a little bit preparing a little bit better, maybe a couple of minutes before a call. So it's good to kind of refresh on that. Anyone have any questions or comments? And just to say, Sam has shared a link in the chat box to please fill out to give your feedback and also to obviously earn your points for attending the session as well.
Thank you.
I have any tips
Sarah
for
has a
if you can
question.
tell someone is just completely zoned out in your meeting? Like, should you call them out on it or should you just let them off? Like, do you think, like, what's the best way of dealing with it if you can see someone typing or you can see someone zoning out during your meeting or your presentation?
Oh, can you say that again, Sarah? The first part, because I didn't hear it.
If you can see like that someone isn't engaging or they're texting or they're, I don't know, sending an email, is it best practice to call them out or do you just leave them and they're just not engaged?
Oh, yeah, great question and very common also. What I would say is, first of all, maybe you can have a team agreement, which is now we are going to be engaged in this meeting. Please, do you all agree that we are not going to multitask? Raise your hand. Then you have the team agreement. And then usually I will never is a big word, but don't recommend to single out the person, like, what are you doing? But maybe you can send a message, a private message with chat. Hey, what are you doing? Is everything okay? Or then you can have a colleague, which helps you to look and to manage, let's say, this kind of things. And then there's one more thing, which you can do, which is have a silence. Because the monotonous blah, 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 okay, blah, 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 and then you silence it. Okay, what's happened? They call me out, or whatever. and people will instantly focus again. Play a little bit. Thanks. It was a great question.
Thank you.
Very good. Eugenia, go ahead.
Yeah, I just have one question. I think the box breathing is very useful. I sometimes forget to do it, but when I remember, it's really, really useful. My question is with visualization, are there any techniques or tricks to do with visualization? Because I start doing it and then just my head goes to other things and I just stop doing that.
Well, I would say even these 2-3 seconds that you do it, it's very hard to keep the attention of something. It works. And it's like a muscle. The first time you do it, 3 seconds, and then second time. And it's again being very mindful of what do I want to do in this meeting. For example, my visualization was that in this session, I was going to have fun. I was going to have some questions like this one. I was going to laugh. And this happened. So even 1 to 2 seconds, your mind doesn't need a full meditation. And this way is a very easy way to
Yeah,
try.
I agree. I think maybe I put my expectations.
Lower
very
your
high.
bar. Don't just try.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. So Roberto, thank you very much. Really interesting session, and really I think it's something that just to think about this stuff again. I haven't really thought about it again in a long time. And the tools that you gave, especially that one, the Ops Studio thing, I think is really interesting. I did a Microsoft Teams thing this morning, and it's very hard when you can't see people and you feel a bit, you feel like you're talking just to yourself in some ways. So thanks again.